You've heard the saying, the house always wins. But what if it didn't? What if, for months, a small group of gamblers sat at a virtual table, played quiet hands, and walked away with thousands every single night? Welcome to the story of the $250 million fake casino scam. A shocking tale of greed, deception, and the dark side of online gambling. This isn't just another warning about bad bets or unlucky spins. This is the true story of a casino that wasn't a casino at all. No flashing lights, no real dealers, no real games, just a digital illusion, perfectly crafted to drain wallets, shatter trust, and vanish into the shadows. A dream that wasn't real. Picture this. You're at home, scrolling the web. An ad pops up. Win big tonight. Join the safest, fastest online casino. The graphics are polished. The jackpot's huge. There's even a live chat where players are congratulating each other on their winnings. It feels safe. It feels exciting. And best of all, they're offering you a bonus just for signing up. You deposit $100, spin a few slots, and suddenly you win. It's small at first. $15 here, $50 there. Enough to make you believe you're on a lucky streak. You keep playing. The wins keep coming. Your account balance climbs into the hundreds, then thousands. But there's one thing you don't know. Every single win has been scripted. Every jackpot predetermined. Your money is already gone from the moment you click deposit. The rise of the fake casino. It all began quietly. No headlines, no police warnings, just a new casino website with a sleek design and tempting slogans like "Win big, play safe," and "The future of gambling." The early players were a mix of casual gamblers, thrill seekers, and those hoping to turn a small deposit into a fortune. The site looked real. It offered hundreds of games, from slot machines to poker rooms to live blackjack. There were glossy photos of dealers smiling at the camera, which, in truth, were stock images stolen from real casinos. The live dealer blackjack games? Just pre-recorded videos on a loop. No one was actually dealing the cards. And the players, the ones shown in chat rooms celebrating wins, most of them didn't exist. Their messages were generated by AI bots, designed to keep the real players feeling like part of a buzzing, lucky crowd. Hooking the players. At first, the fake casino let players win small amounts and withdraw them successfully. This built trust. Victims later said this was the most convincing part of the scam. It felt legitimate because you could cash out at least once. But once players deposited larger amounts, the game changed. Suddenly jackpots became more frequent. Your balance climbed faster. And then, when you tried to withdraw, you hit a wall. Excuses poured in. Verification required. Bank processing delays. Technical error. Please try again in 72 hours. And all the while, the casino kept encouraging you to deposit more. Behind the curtain, what players didn't see was the sophisticated control panel the scammers used. Every bet, every spin, every hand, controlled manually or by a rigged algorithm. If they wanted a player to win, they'd trigger it. If they wanted a player to lose everything, they'd drain their balance in a few clicks. Even the random number generator was fake. Just a script designed to make sure the house took more than it gave. This wasn't sloppy fraud. It was methodical, precise, and profitable. The trap tightens. At first, most players thought the delays in withdrawals were just bad luck or slow processing. Some even deposited more money just to keep playing while they waited. That's exactly what the scammers wanted. The more you deposited, the more they let you win on screen. Your balance might show $12,000, $20,000, even $50,000. But none of it was real. Victim story number 1, the small-town mechanic. One of the earliest victims was a mechanic named Dave. Dave had never been to Las Vegas, but he'd always liked playing poker with friends. When he saw the casino's ad on Facebook, he figured it was worth a try. He deposited $200. Within 2 weeks, his account balance had grown to $18,000. Dave started dreaming big. A new car, a better house, maybe early retirement. But when he tried to cash out, silence. Emails went unanswered. Live chat reps repeated the same copy-pasted apologies. Weeks later, Dave realized he hadn't won anything at all. The dealer he thought was congratulating him? Just a video clip on repeat. Victim story number 2, the single mother. Then there was Sarah, a single mother who thought she'd finally found a way to earn extra money from home. She played the slots late at night after her kids were asleep. At first, she withdrew $50 here, $100 there, and used it to pay bills. That small taste of success made her believe the casino was real. So when she won a $10,000 jackpot, she was ecstatic. She told her kids they might finally take a vacation. But when the payout never came, the vacation dreams crumbled. Instead, Sarah found herself in debt after depositing more money to unlock her winnings, as the fake support agents advised. The expansion. Within months, the fake casino had exploded in popularity. It wasn't just one website anymore. It was dozens, all linked together. If one site started getting bad reviews, they'd shut it down and open a new one the next day. Same games, same fake jackpots, just a different name and logo. They used affiliate marketing to pull in even more victims, paying influencers to promote the sites without realizing they were scams. And because the games looked identical to real online casinos, most players never suspected a thing until it was too late. The first clues. Eventually, though, cracks began to show. A handful of tech-savvy players noticed strange patterns. The live roulette wheel always spun in the same sequence. The same player names kept winning over and over in the chat feed. The supposed random card shuffles repeated exactly after a certain number of games. One player even filmed their screen and compared it to a friend's, and realized both were seeing the same exact game, down to the millisecond. The casino wasn't live at all. It was pre-programmed and rigged. The jackpot that never existed. By the second year, the scammers were pulling in millions every single month. They introduced mega jackpots, prizes so huge they were designed to go viral. We're talking $5 million slot wins, $10 million roulette streaks, and screenshots of massive payouts being shared across social media. Players from around the world poured in, desperate to be the next big winner. But here's the truth. Every screenshot you saw, fake. Every winner in their promotional videos, paid actors. How they laundered the money to move that kind of cash without being detected, the scammers used a web of tactics. Cryptocurrency payments. Once a player deposited in Bitcoin or Ethereum, it was nearly impossible to trace where it went. Offshore shell companies, registered in countries with minimal banking oversight, making it harder for law enforcement to follow the trail. Money mules, regular people who were paid a cut to transfer stolen funds between accounts, often without realizing they were helping criminals. By the time authorities spotted suspicious transactions, the money had already bounced through 5 or 6 different countries. The turning point. The scam might have continued for years, if not for one thing: greed. In late 2022, the fake casino launched a VIP program. They promised top players faster withdrawals, but only if they deposited even more money upfront. For some, That meant wiring $50,000, $100,000, even $250,000 in one go. That level of theft triggered banking fraud alerts. International financial watchdogs noticed patterns in the transfers, and suddenly, the scam had the full attention of Interpol. The international manhunt. What followed was a digital cat-and-mouse game. Interpol agents coordinated with cybercrime units in 6 countries. They tracked IP addresses, traced cryptocurrency wallets, and infiltrated private chat groups where the scammers recruited employees. One undercover agent even posed as a payment processor and got direct access to the scammer's internal dashboard. Inside, they found records of over 400,000 victims. Total stolen amount? Just over $250 million. The fall in early 2023, coordinated raids took place in multiple cities. In Dubai, police stormed a luxury penthouse and found 3 of the main operators, surrounded by stacks of cash, designer watches, and unopened laptops. In Eastern Europe, another group was caught in a warehouse filled with computer servers running the fake casino's games. And in Hong Kong, authorities froze nearly $30 million sitting in offshore accounts. But here's the twist. Even with all those arrests, not all of the ringleaders were caught. Some vanished before the raids, taking millions in stolen funds with them. And to this day, new fake casinos keep popping up, possibly run by the same people, under new names. The fallout. When the fake casino was finally exposed, the reaction was explosive. Thousands of players flooded forums and social media, sharing their stories. Some had lost a few $100s. Others had lost their entire life savings. One man from Canada posted that he had sold his truck to fund his last big deposit. A woman in Australia revealed she'd taken out a second mortgage after a fake VIP manager promised her she was just one spin away from hitting the jackpot. Many victims described the same gut-wrenching moment, when the site went dark, and they realized their money was never coming back. The Fight for Justice Interpol's operation recovered about $45 million of the stolen funds. Sounds like a lot, but when you divide it across hundreds of thousands of victims, it barely covers a fraction of what was lost. Some countries offered compensation funds, but eligibility was strict, and most victims never saw a single dollar returned. The scammers' use of cryptocurrency and offshore accounts made most of the stolen money vanish forever, scattered across the digital shadows of the internet. The victim's warning. Many of the people who were scammed now see themselves as advocates. They've joined online communities that track suspicious gambling sites, share scam alerts on social media, and teach others how to spot red flags before it's too late. They warn players to always check if a casino is licensed by a reputable gaming authority. Avoid sites that only allow crypto deposits. Be wary of too good to be true, bonuses or mega jackpots. Search for real user reviews, not paid influencer promotions. The chilling reality. Here's the part that might shock you most. Even after this $250 million fake casino was shut down, new ones are already up and running. Different names, different branding, but the same scam. Sometimes even reusing the same rigged software. Law enforcement calls it whack-a-mole fraud. Shut one down, and another pops up. The final question. So here's the uncomfortable truth. For all the arrests, investigations, and news coverage, the mastermind behind some of the largest fake casinos in history are still out there. And right now, somewhere online, there's a flashy website with huge jackpots, bright lights, and tempting bonuses, waiting for its next victim to place a bet that will never pay out. The house always wins. There's a saying in the gambling world: the house always wins. But in this story, the house wasn't even real. It was a ghost, a digital mirage, designed to take your money, smile while you played, and then vanish without a trace. The illusion of luck. The thing about gambling is that it's not just about winning money. It's about hope. That split second when the roulette wheel slows down. That moment the slot reels line up. That rush of adrenaline when you think, this is it. The scammers knew this. They didn't just steal money. They stole dreams. The player's perspective. Imagine logging in every night for months, seeing your balance climb, believing you were one spin away from changing your life. Then, in an instant, it's gone. Not because you lost the bet, but because the bet was never real. The last lesson. This is why fake casinos are so dangerous. They don't just take from reckless gamblers, they target everyone. The cautious, the curious, the desperate, the hopeful. Because in a rigged game, skill doesn't matter. Luck doesn't matter. Only the scam matters. A final thought. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is signing up for a site just like this. They think they found the next big jackpot. They think the flashing lights and the spinning reels mean something. They don't know. They're just another name on a list. Another deposit in a scammer's account. Another life about to change. For the worse. So the next time you see a casino offering the deal of a lifetime, ask yourself, is it luck? Or is it the perfect con?